Congratulations! You have been issued a Department of Energy DOE Access Authorization, otherwise known as a security clearance. Upon receipt of a headquarters issued access authorization, and before you are granted initial access to classified information or matter, you are required to complete a comprehensive security briefing. The summary of information contained in this media presentation, along with the in-depth written information contained in the Comprehensive Security Briefing booklet you received today, are designed to meet the requirements for the Comprehensive Security Briefing for all individuals. You should review the booklet in its entirety and retain it for future reference. You are required to adhere to all of the requirements contained both in this presentation and in the briefing booklet. Protecting the national security of the United States is an integral requirement of the mission of DOE. Critical to this requirement is the protection of classified and controlled unclassified information, or CUI. Accordingly, this information requires special protection requirements. These requirements are established in various DOE security directives, the Atomic Energy Act of 1954, executive orders, and other federal laws. This Headquarters Comprehensive Security Briefing provides a reference for conducting some of your security responsibilities. However, by no means does it describe the total extent of your obligations to identify and protect classified and CUI. Before we proceed with this briefing, it is necessary to discuss the term CUI. Within DOE, information that is sensitive but unclassified is referred to as Unclassified Controlled Information, UCI. A presidential memorandum issued on May 9, 2008 addresses the standardization of sensitive but unclassified information throughout the government. Because of this memorandum, it is anticipated that Controlled Unclassified Information, or CUI, will become the sole designation for all information that falls within the scope of sensitive but unclassified information. It will replace such terms as UCI and sensitive unclassified information, SUI. As you encounter information at DOE identified as UCI or SUI, it is important that you remember it is synonymous with the new CUI acronym. It's also important to understand that use of this term does not now affect existing controlled information programs. For example, unclassified controlled nuclear information and official use only information are types of CUI, but the marking and protection of such information will continue as required by existing DOE directives. An additional resource for more in-depth understanding of your security responsibilities is contained in the Headquarters Facilities Master Security Plan. This plan is a comprehensive security document that implements departmental security policy for all headquarters program and staff offices. The plan is available to you through your Headquarters Security Officer, HSO, and via the Office of Health, Safety, and Security website. All headquarters personnel are responsible for complying with the security requirements contained in the Headquarters Facilities Master Security Plan. You are personally responsible for the proper use, handling, storage, and protection of classified matter and CUI in your care. The head of each headquarters element is responsible for the security posture in his or her organization. In other words, the head of element is responsible for implementing a security program consistent with both DOE security directives and the requirements contained in the Headquarters Facilities Master Security Plan. As a matter of practice, however, these security responsibilities are delegated from each head of element to his or her HSO, alternate HSO, or HSO representative. HSOs are security representatives who serve as organizational points of contact for security-related matters within their organizations and are conduits for the timely dissemination of security information throughout their organizations. It is imperative you know who your HSO personnel are. Your HSO's principal responsibility is to work with you and your organization to ensure the protection of both classified information and CUI. Many headquarters offices work in partnership with you and your HSO to accomplish the overall security mission at headquarters facilities. These offices are responsible for promulgating security policy, program implementation, and program oversight. These programs affect each and every federal and contractor employee who works in support of the headquarters mission, and as such, these program security requirements apply to all headquarters employees. These offices include the Office of Health, Safety, and Security, the Office of Headquarters Security Operations, the Office of Headquarters Personnel Security Operations, the Office of Classification, the Office of the Chief Information Officer, and the Counterintelligence Directorate. 4 requirements must be satisfied before you are authorized to access classified matter. Access authorization. As an employee of the federal government or one of its contractors, you have been subject to a personnel security investigation. The purpose of this investigation was to determine your trustworthiness to access classified information. When the investigation was completed, DOE granted you a Q or L access authorization security clearance based on a favorable determination of the investigation results. The second requirement that you must fulfill prior to your initial access to classified matter is to sign the Classified Information Non-Disclosure Agreement, Standard Form SF-312. The SF-312 is a contractual agreement between the U.S. government and you as a cleared employee in which you agree never to disclose classified information to an unauthorized person. At the conclusion of this comprehensive security briefing, you will be given a copy of the SF-312 to read and sign. The third requirement for access to classified information is the need to know. That is, you must have a need to know the information in order to perform your official duties or assist in a lawful and authorized governmental function. The holder of classified information to which you seek access is responsible for confirming your identity, your security clearance level, and your need to know. No person may have access to classified information unless he or she has been granted an access authorization equal to or higher than the classification level and category of the information and the requisite need to know. The fourth and final requirement prior to initial access to classified information or special nuclear material, SNM, is that you have completed a comprehensive security briefing upon receipt of an access authorization. At the conclusion of this comprehensive security briefing, you should have a basic understanding of the following. What is classified information? How do you protect it? Who may have access to it? And how does the classification system function? An access authorization is an administrative determination made by DOE that an individual is eligible for access to classified matter. DOE issues Q and L access authorizations. Each access authorization security clearance authorizes an individual to access specific levels and categories of classified information. DOE has issued you either a Q or L access authorization based on a favorable determination of the personnel security investigation results, as well as your need to know the classification level and category of specific classified information. Q and L access authorization indicators are visible on federal and contractor security badges and may be used to verify an individual's access authorization. The Department originates and receives unclassified information, controlled unclassified information, and classified information. Unclassified is the designation for information, a document or material, that has been determined not to be classified or that has been declassified by proper authority. Controlled unclassified information, CUI, is information that may be exempt from public release under the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA. CUI includes, but is not limited to, unclassified controlled nuclear information, UCNI, certain unclassified but sensitive information concerning nuclear material, weapons, and components, the distribution of which is controlled under the Atomic Energy Act. Official use only, OUO, certain information that may be exempt from public release under the Freedom of Information Act, 5 U.S.C. 552, and has the potential to damage governmental, commercial, or private interests if disseminated to persons who do not need to know the information to perform their jobs or other DOE authorized activities. OUO consists of several types of information, including, but not limited to, certain security-related information that is not classified, some commercial and proprietary information, privileged information, which includes pre-decisional information, and export-controlled information. One type of OUO information anyone may encounter is personally identifiable information, PII. PII is a particularly important subset of OUO information. It consists of any information about an individual maintained by an agency, including but not limited to education, financial transactions, medical history, and criminal or employment history, and information which can be used to distinguish or trace an individual's identity, such as their name associated with their Social Security number, date and place of birth, mother's maiden name, biometric records, etc., including any other personal information which is linked or linkable to an individual. CUI is protected through marking, access control, physical protection, and other requirements that restrict reproduction, transmission, destruction, and dissemination. When photocopying CUI, make sure you keep the number of copies to a minimum and protect all copies in the same manner that you'd protect the original document. CUI can be transmitted outside the facility in single-wrapped, sealed, opaque envelopes or wrappers. The envelope must be marked to be opened by addressee only. When transmitting CUI electronically, encrypted email or secure facsimile machines should be used whenever possible. However, if such capabilities aren't available and transmission by mail is not a feasible alternative, regular email or fax machines can be used for all categories of CUI except for UCNI. Electronic transmission of UCNI must be encrypted. If an emergency situation requires transmission without encryption, approval for waiving the encryption requirement must be requested from the Director, Office of Security Operations. CUI is never authorized to be placed in the public domain or posted on an internet website that is accessible by the general public. Paper UCI may be destroyed using a strip cut shredder that results in strips that are less than 1/4 inch wide. Cross-cut shredders are recommended. Classified information is information that is classified as restricted data or formally restricted data under the Atomic Energy Act of 1954, or information determined to require protection against unauthorized disclosure under Executive Order 12958, classified national security information as amended, or prior executive orders, which is identified as national security information. Classified matter is any combination of documents and material containing classified information. All classified information falls within one of three classification levels, reflecting the varying degrees of sensitivity. Top secret, the classification level assigned to information of utmost importance to the national defense and security. Unauthorized disclosure could reasonably be expected to cause exceptionally grave damage to national security. Secret, the classification level applied to information for which the unauthorized disclosure could reasonably be expected to cause serious damage to national security. And confidential, the classification level applied to information for which the unauthorized disclosure could reasonably be expected to cause damage to national security. All classified information falls within one of three classification categories. Restricted data is all data concerning design, manufacture, or utilization of atomic weapons, production of special nuclear material, or use of special nuclear material in the production of energy, but excluding data declassified or removed from the restricted data category pursuant to Section 142 of the Atomic Energy Act of 1954 as amended. Formally restricted data is classified information jointly determined by the DOE or its predecessor agencies and DOD to be related primarily to the military utilization of atomic weapons and protected as national security information. It is subject to the restrictions on transmission to other countries and regional defense organizations that apply to restricted data. National security information. Any information that has been determined pursuant to Executive Order 12958, classified national security information as amended, or any predecessor order to require protection against unauthorized disclosure and that is so designated. In addition to classification level and category markings, special markings and caveat markings are placed on documents, either to describe special handling or dissemination requirements or to identify the type of information and the originator. In some cases, access to the documents may require approval of special program offices or managers. Some of the most commonly used caveats are foreign government information, North Atlantic Treaty Organization information, intelligence information, which has the following markings: no foreign dissemination, originator controlled, proprietary information, authorized for release to country, releasable by information disclosure official, and weapons data. The following are markings associated with atomic weapons or nuclear explosive devices. Sigma category. This marking refers to restricted data and formally restricted data concerning the design, manufacture, or use of atomic weapons or nuclear explosive devices. In the future, the number of Sigma categories may fluctuate due to changes in policy. Critical nuclear weapons design information. A Department of Defense marking designating top secret or secret restricted data weapons design information. Classification is the act or process by which information or matter is determined to require protection in the interest of national security. The purpose of the DOE classification program is to ensure classified and unclassified controlled information is properly identified and marked, and as such, properly protected from unauthorized disclosure. Only specifically designated original classifiers or derivative classifiers may classify information or material. The Office of Classification provides training and examination and designates in writing all headquarters original and derivative classifiers in specific positions for a specified time period. Proper protection of classified matter cannot be provided if a correct classification determination has not been made. If you originate documents, it is your responsibility for ensuring they are properly classified. If you lack authorization to classify, you must submit the documents to a specifically designated derivative classifier for a classification determination. Any document originated in a classified subject area must be submitted to the appropriate classification official for a formal classification review. Until the document that may contain classified information has been reviewed, it must be protected as classified. As such, it must be marked with the highest potential overall classification level and category until it is formally reviewed, properly protected and stored, and access to the document must be limited to only authorized, cleared individuals. Only specifically designated derivative declassifiers may declassify or downgrade the classification level or category of classified documents or material. The Office of Classification provides training and designates in writing all headquarters derivative declassifiers. If you want a document reviewed for declassification or downgraded, you should submit it to your organization's derivative declassifier, who is knowledgeable in the subject area in the document. Note, however, it takes at least 2 separate reviews by 2 separate individuals to declassify a document. Authorized holders of classified information who, in good faith, believe the classification status of information is improper are encouraged and expected to challenge the classification status of the information. Under no circumstances will anyone be subject to retribution for such a challenge. Contact your organization's classification representative or the Office of Classification for additional guidance. There is an increasing amount of classified information appearing without authorization in the public domain. For example, internet, newspapers, books, and interviews. In such cases, commenting on the information could result in greater damage to the national security than would occur if no comment were made about it. The fact that specified classified information has appeared publicly in written or spoken format is itself classified. The fact by itself isn't protected. Only the information that would help an adversary locate the information is protected. The fact that information has appeared publicly does not make it unclassified. Therefore, if you are asked a question about the accuracy, classification, or technical merit of such information, you should respond in a way that equates to a no comment. Discretion should be applied in order to avoid no comment at such a point that its use reveals classified information. At headquarters, protection of classified matter is given the highest level of protection and is accomplished by layered security or defense in depth, resulting in a graded approach to protection. Security areas are defined areas containing safeguards and security interests that require physical protection measures. One of the types of security areas at headquarters is a property protection area, or PPA. PPAs have defined boundaries and access controls for the protection of departmental property. Headquarters also utilizes 2 types of security areas, limited areas and exclusion areas, for the protection of classified matter. These areas also have clearly defined boundaries and access control points. Access to these security areas is limited to appropriately cleared and authorized individuals. All uncleared or unauthorized individuals requiring access to these areas must be escorted by a cleared and knowledgeable individual. In some security areas, sign-in registers are required. A limited area is a type of security area having boundaries defined by physical barriers used for the protection of classified matter and/or Category 3 quantities of special nuclear material, where protective personnel or other internal controls can prevent access by unauthorized persons to classified matter or special nuclear material. An exclusion area is a type of security area defined by physical barriers and subject to access control where mere presence in the area would normally result in access to classified information. Contact your HSO if you have questions about the security areas established for your organization. Controlled articles are not permitted in limited or exclusion areas because of their potential to be used to record or transmit information without authorization. Examples of controlled articles include cellular telephones, electronic equipment including toys with an audio, video, optical, data recording, or radio frequency transmitting or carrier current capability. Electronic equipment with a data exchange port capable of being connected to automated information system equipment. Personally owned computers, cameras, and prohibited articles. A sign identifying prohibited articles is posted at the entrances to all headquarters buildings. In short, weapons, explosives, or other dangerous instruments or materials that can injure people or damage property are prohibited. Other prohibited items include alcoholic beverages and controlled substances, for example, illegal drugs or paraphernalia, but not prescription medication. During normal operating hours, 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, escorts are not required for U.S. citizen visitors entering headquarters facilities unless specified by the office or person being visited. However, uncleared visitors must be escorted at all times and on all days in limited and exclusion areas. Foreign national visitors need not be escorted unless requested by the host while in property protection areas during the hours of 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. At all other times, to include 24 hours on federal holidays and weekends, foreign national visitors must be escorted while in DOE headquarters facilities by the host or his or her representative. The escort must possess a DOE headquarters issued picture badge and must be a U.S. citizen. Headquarters issues photo identification security badges to DOE federal and contractor employees who require long-term routine access to the headquarters buildings. These badges identify the individual and contain an access authorization indicator Q or L for those individuals who have been granted a DOE access authorization. All hand-carried articles are subject to inspection by security officers upon entry into or exit from a headquarters facility. Classified information must never be discussed over unencrypted or unsecured telephone systems. Attempts to talk around classified information by using personally devised code words, nicknames, or paraphrasing is prohibited. Additionally, classified telephone conversations may only take place in security areas that have been approved for classified discussions. As a general rule, classified discussions, conversations, or conferences must be held in formally established and approved limited and exclusion areas. All official foreign travel requests must be entered into the Foreign Travel Management System within 30 calendar days before the proposed departure date to a non-sensitive country, or 45 calendar days before the proposed departure date if the travel is to a sensitive country or involves a sensitive subject. All contractor employees must immediately report to the Washington Regional Counterintelligence Office, WRCO, all foreign travel done with foreign monetary support. Federal employees have a similar reporting requirement if the travel is done with substantive foreign monetary support. All DOE federal employees must report to the WRCO all unofficial travel to a sensitive country 30 or more days prior to departure, and must also report to the WRCO upon return from travel. Contact your HSO or consult the Headquarters Facilities Master Security Plan to obtain additional information, including the list of sensitive countries and sensitive subjects. A security infraction is any knowing, willful, or negligent action contrary to the requirements of Executive Order 12958, Classified National Security Information as amended, or its implementing directives that does not constitute a violation. If security personnel find these actions were intentional or caused by gross negligence, the action may constitute a violation, resulting in criminal prosecution or other administrative action. Committing a security infraction may result in administrative discipline, including loss of access authorization. Incidents that may be considered security infractions are leaving classified documents or material exposed and unattended or unsecured, to include leaving a classified repository open and unattended, failure to properly safeguard classified documents or combinations to repositories, changing a document's classification marking without proper authority, failure to provide for a document's classification review as required, destruction of classified documents in other than the prescribed manner, improper transmission of classified documents or material, failure to escort uncleared persons within security areas, failure to comply with cybersecurity policy, and unauthorized possession of prohibited articles in headquarters facilities. Contact your HSO or consult the Headquarters Facilities Master Security Plan for additional information. A security violation is any knowing, willful, or negligent action that could reasonably be expected to result in an unauthorized disclosure of classified information. Suspected or known violations of U.S. criminal statutes, federal statutes, or federal laws pertaining to the unauthorized disclosure of classified matter are referred to federal law enforcement for further action. Classified matter must be marked to show the classification level, the classification category if RD or FRD, special markings or caveats, and classifier or originator identification, and the date of origin. Additionally, titles or subjects of classified documents containing classified information must be portion marked. Any person who originates documents is responsible for ensuring they are properly classified and properly marked for classification. Classified document cover sheets serve as shields to protect top secret, secret, and confidential documents from inadvertent disclosure. Always place a cover sheet on the face of each classified document when it is in use or removed from the security container. Cover sheets are also required on the back of a classified document if the back page is not marked with the overall highest classification level of the document. Each element has established at least one classified document control CDC station for their organization. The purpose of a CDC station is to maintain records, access lists when required, and control classified matter, including facsimiles, received by and/or dispatched from headquarters elements. CDC stations are utilized to prevent unauthorized access to or removal of classified matter. Some sensitive classified matter must be placed into an accountability system. The Department has established accountability systems as security mechanisms to control access and ensure that these classified documents can be located at any time. The types of classified matter that require accountability include, but are not limited to, top secret matter, some communication security matter, some North Atlantic Treaty Organization documents, some documents containing foreign government information, some special access program documents, some sensitive compartmental information documents, secret or higher information stored outside of a limited security area, electronic storage media containing sigmas 1, 2, 14, and 15, or a combination of nuclear weapons design or testing data, classified removable electronic media, CREM, containing secret or restricted data, or higher classification, or containing any sigma 1, 2, 14, or 15, or a combination of nuclear weapons design or testing data, and laptop computers that contain accountable CREM. Accountable classified removable electronic media, ACREM, is classified removable electronic media containing secret or restricted data or higher classification, or containing any sigma 1, 2, 14, or 15, or a combination of nuclear weapons design or testing data. CREM is any item or material that can retain digital information, is required to be marked as classified, requires electric power to function as intended, and is designed, intended, or permitted to be removed or transported by a user of the media. ACREM has special accountability and handling requirements. Before transmitting a classified document, the sender must ensure the recipient needs the information in the performance of their official duties, need to know, is authorized to receive the information, possesses the appropriate access authorization, has an approved classified mailing address, CMA, and has approved storage facilities for protecting the information. Classified document control station personnel must prepare the material for transmission. Classified matter transmitted outside headquarters facilities, for example, between the Forrestal and Germantown buildings, including hand-carried matter, must be double-wrapped. CDC station personnel must prepare the material for transmission. Classified documents carried between security areas in the same headquarters building may be transported in a candy stripe envelope. All federal and contractor employees must be specifically authorized by the individual's organization to hand carry classified matter, and authorization may be granted only if the individual has received a specific hand carry security briefing. Hand carrying classified matter aboard a commercial aircraft requires case-by-case approval by your organization and an additional special security briefing. Sending classified information over unsecure or unencrypted office facsimile machines is strictly prohibited. Approved secure encrypted facsimile machines are located in the Forrestal and Germantown message centers, as well as other headquarters limited and exclusion areas. Classified email messages may be transmitted only on accredited computers approved for classified transmissions and in accordance with an approved security plan. Reproduction of classified documents shall be limited to the minimum number of copies consistent with operational requirements and further reproduction limitations indicated on the document. Reproduction of classified documents must be performed on machines located only within limited or exclusion areas and specifically approved for classified reproduction. Such machines are designated by conspicuously posted copier certification signs specifying the highest level and category of information that may be reproduced. Headquarters uses approved shredders located in approved limited or exclusion areas or in the classified destruction facility located in Germantown to destroy classified matter and unclassified controlled information paper products. Contact your HSO for the locations of your elements approved shredders, as well as specific destruction procedures. All shredders approved for the destruction of classified matter are designated by conspicuously posted signs containing the make and model of the shredder and are signed by the approving HSO. Destruction. Paper, plastics, and metal must be sorted into separate, properly annotated burn bags. Classified waste must be placed in red stripe burn bags, and UCI must be placed in plain brown burn bags prior to transport to the Germantown Classified Destruction Facility. Unless a security area is approved for open storage, classified matter must be stored in GSA-approved security containers. Always protect combinations to classified repositories. For example, GSA-approved safe vault or vault-type room at the classification level and category of the information contained in the repository. Therefore, if written down, the combination itself must be protected as classified and stored in another classified storage repository at the equivalent or higher classification level. The SF700 security container information must be used to record security container combinations, and the SF700 must be protected as classified matter. An integral part of the headquarters security check system involves use of the SF702 security container check sheet. This form must be used to record times, dates, and the initials of individuals who have opened, closed, or checked a particular container, vault, or vault-type room. At headquarters, the SF702 must be affixed to security containers or entrances to exclusion areas, vaults, and vault-type rooms. The SF701 Activity Security Checklist provides a systematic means of recording the checking of end-of-day activities for a particular work area approved for classified operations. For example, limited or exclusion areas. Headquarters requires the use of the SF701 or an equivalent for end-of-day security area inspections. The headquarters cybersecurity program for managing classified and unclassified computer security is managed by the Office of the Chief Information Officer. Classified matter may not be processed on information systems until the system is accredited or approved for classified use by the Office of the Chief Information Officer. DOE research and development activity remains a high priority for foreign intelligence services. Foreign intelligence services often begin their targeting and recruitment of DOE federal and contractor employees by identifying who has access to the information they need. Through elicitation or surveillance methods, they may collect a wide variety of information about you: biographical, professional, technical, and behavioral information. Additionally, if you conduct foreign travel, have foreign interactions, or attend conferences and symposiums, the chance of such collection activity is increased. Elicitation is the process of simply getting you to provide information, usually within a seemingly ordinary conversation, without being obvious to you that you are being asked a set list of questions. Taken together, elicitation responses may reveal your vulnerabilities. Interactions with foreign nationals involving travel or hosting visits have resulted in reports indicating that FIS activity is targeting U.S. citizens. Your own awareness and vigilance about the potential threat from hostile intelligence targeting are critical. Although the threat is real, your risk can be mitigated by following this simple advice. Report personal and professional contacts with sensitive country foreign nationals. Report official and unofficial travel to sensitive countries. Report any inappropriate requests for classified information or UCI. And notify the Counterintelligence Directorate of any anomalies or other indications that you or someone else may be the target of a foreign country's intelligence collection efforts. Incidents of security concern are events which are of concern to the DOE safeguards and security program that warrant preliminary inquiry and subsequent reporting. As such, Incidents of security concern, as well as information bearing on a federal or contractor employee's continued eligibility for access to DOE facilities, material or classified matter, must be reported to DOE officials. The nature of the reportable information will determine to which office it should be reported, as well as the reporting deadlines. Some information must be reported immediately, and other reports may be delayed a day or two. Items that must be reported immediately are incidents of safeguards and security concern, including those involving classified information or matter, or special nuclear material, criminal violations relating to DOE programs like fraud, deliberate compromise or foreign involvement in suspected compromise of classified information, and violations of security regulations. A complete list of reporting requirements is available in the Comprehensive Security Briefing Booklet. You are required to adhere to all of the reporting requirements that are applicable to you. Administrative and legal sanctions may be imposed on individuals who knowingly or willfully disregard security procedures and federal regulations. Such administrative and legal sanctions include, but are not limited to, the following. Administrative sanctions may include reprimand, suspension, reassignment, termination of classification authority, loss or denial of access authorization, termination of employment, or other sanctions in accordance with applicable laws and agency regulations. Legal sanctions may include Title 18 U.S.C. Section 793, gathering, transmitting, or losing defense information. Section 794, gathering or delivering defense information to aid foreign government. Section 798, disclosure of classified information. And Section 1924, unauthorized removal and retention of classified documents or material. An individual who has been found guilty of one or more of these felonies may be sentenced to pay a fine of not more than $250,000 and/or may be imprisoned for any term of years or for life, or may be punished by death. Atomic Energy Act of 1954, Section 224, unauthorized communication of restricted data shall be punished by imprisonment for life or by imprisonment for any term of years or a fine of not more than $100,000 or both. The Security Enforcement Program is designed to implement the requirements of Title 10 Code of Federal Regulations, Part 824. This rule was published by DOE to implement Section 234B of the Atomic Energy Act of 1954. Section 234B stipulates that a contractor or subcontractor to the DOE who violates any rule, regulation, or order relating to the safeguarding or security of restricted data, other classified information, or sensitive information shall be subject to a civil penalty not to exceed $100,000 per offense. In publishing 10 CFR Part 824, DOE has determined that civil penalties under Part 824 will only be assessed for violations of requirements for the protection of classified information, restricted data, formerly restricted data, and national security information. Civil penalties for failure to protect classified information will not be assessed against individual employees, but will only be assessed against the company that has entered into a contract or agreement with the DOE. At such time, your access authorization is terminated. It is your responsibility to complete a termination briefing. The termination briefing will reiterate your continuing responsibility not to disclose classified information to which you had access, the potential penalties for noncompliance, and your obligation to return to DOE all unclassified, controlled, and classified documents and materials in your possession. The work done by the Department of Energy is essential to the entire nation. As a select member of the DOE community who has been granted an access authorization, you have been asked to participate in some of the most significant activities of the United States government, the protection of our nation's secrets. As such, you are personally responsible for protecting classified information that is critical to the security of our nation. If you have any questions regarding your responsibilities, please contact the Office of Headquarters Security Operations at 301-903-9990. Well, you have completed the Headquarters Comprehensive Security Briefing. As a reminder, you should also read the companion Comprehensive Security Briefing booklet to obtain more in-depth knowledge of your personal responsibilities for the proper use, handling, storage, and protection of classified matter and UCI. Please read and sign a Classified Information Non-Disclosure Agreement, SF-312. If your DOE sponsor has requested that you be issued a DOE Headquarters Security Badge, it will be issued after the badging office personnel receive your signed SF-312. Thank you for watching this comprehensive security briefing.